we've gotten to see of them. They have some pretty solid drafts, I feel like, and then just all the players are just doing everything so well. So even if the draft doesn't look perfect, they all play so well and overperform. It's tough. Yeah, we see the guys here, four of them. They're ready. One of them in the eclipse right now. OG, I think they have brought in some slightly like different drafting, I feel like, and we don't always see how it connects, but of course the team has its own ideas, right? And I feel like they're trying something, or at least some of the drafts are a little different than the typical meta. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I think they're still trying to piece it all together. I think in even some of the interviews we got yesterday, they don't feel like they're at 100% right now. So definitely, I think a lot of people would love to see OG playing at whatever they think their best is. It is a very fun team to watch when things are going well. So we'll see. We'll see what they brought in today. I believe this is the second series both teams are playing today.
Yep.
So I don't imagine they'll be like tired because they're pros. They're used to playing a bunch of Dota games. But I wonder how much prep time they had because they had to prep for two series today.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons coming off the 2-0 over G2IG, which that was the 80 some odd minute ridiculous game that seemed to never end. I was surprised it did end. But yeah, OG with the getting 2-0'd by Spirit earlier. I mean, both these teams are coming with very different experiences to start the day. So we'll see what happens in this next one as we get ready to jump into the draft. But if like Falcons has shown, like they are definitely one of the top teams, if not the top team, but they have dropped a couple games, right? They dropped one game to Heroic earlier in the tournament and then another one over to Team Spirit, which was a little bit surprising based on where they are in the standings. And if that trend continues, I mean, maybe OG is the one that takes a third game off of them. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, we did hear from one of the interview. I think it maybe was Snake King or maybe it was Crit. Someone from Falcons mentioned. I think they had like some visa issues coming in originally. I'm glad they all got it sorted out, so everyone seems to be here. But it meant that they didn't get as much practice as they wanted to. So maybe that's some of it. But I also think, obviously, some teams look to be more consistent than others, performing better, whatever. But I think we're reaching this level of Dota where even the quote-unquote worst teams, when they're playing well and the opponents are maybe not at their perfect game, like you can take a game off of anyone. So it's not crazy to me to see that even Falcons, who a lot of us consider the best team, the team to watch right now, they will drop games versus the other teams, especially depending how the draft plays out, how the team does in that particular game, that particular day. That's the really fun thing about watching Dota right now. You never know 100% sure which team is going to come out ahead.
Absolutely. And I think, that's kind of one of the unique things about Dota compared to a lot of other esports is there is a pretty big divide in other games. Like there's just like certain teams you're like, yeah, these are going to be the same teams at every tournament taking every title. And there's not much like growth, but yeah, Dota, it's kind of a little bit more. It's a little bit more tight knit. The top teams to the bottom, that whole top 16 is very close. We're gonna see the Bat Rider come out as the overall first pick here for OG. Looking through the bans, Shadow Demon has made its way through. If we want to see a Shadow Demon pick up from Falcons, his Marana is also there for Snake King. So they've got some options.
We like the Crystal Maiden pick a lot versus the Bat Rider. Oh, it looks like, yeah, Timber, of course. Slipped through the bans this time, so they have very good Timber players on the side of Falcons. We'll see where it ends up going. But either way...
It's usually MR, right?
Yeah, it feels like it will be. Which is interesting because Bat Rider tends to be pretty good versus Timber in the lane. But Malrine is also like Grandmaster level Timber player, and Amar has some other heroes that he is quite good at as well. So I don't know if it's coincidence or if they intentionally tried to find some of these players who had such overlapping pools, but there are a couple picks for Falcons, such as the Timber Saw or Huskar is another one, where you don't know for sure where it's going to go, And it's not even like, oh, it's definitely better on their mid laner. It's like, I don't know. These two players are both insane Timber players. I don't really want it to go on either side, but it does open up some drafts for them where they it's such a powerful pick for the team.
That is so true. Yeah. I like the TA ban. It's something we've seen picked a couple times up against the Timbersaw. It's also a Tomato staple.
Mm-hmm.
So getting rid of that and protecting its ability to go to the off lane. Shadow Demon Tiny Band, of course. Crit Tiny has looked insane, especially since it was the only reason they ended up winning that 83-minute game earlier. He like alls in, dies to get the fortification, and then just does it again, eventually finishing the throne.
That was a wild game. If you guys didn't catch it, you should go check it out later in one of the VODs.
It was quite fun, yeah. I kept thinking the game was going to end, and then I'm just like, no, they still haven't even had to pop fortification, so we're here for a while. Last ban, though, from Falcons, I'm a little bit curious, because they have next pick, which, okay, they do get rid of the Faceless Void. I was like, it's probably just going to be a support. They grabbed the Crystal Maiden, which is the counter to the Batrider, like we were mentioning earlier, and just a pretty safe overall pick in general.
It also enables your Timbersaw, who is a pretty mana-intensive hero. Crystal Maiden, one of the better supports for that. There's also Enchantress still in the pool. I feel like we've seen OG pull out Enchantress a couple times, and Crystal Maiden is a good preemptive pick against that.
Okay. Rubik, I'm curious which one of them is going to play this, because one thing to remember, they could rock this off lane for Whisper occasionally, so we'll kind of keep that on the back foot. It's a lot of times just going to be the support, but with OG, you never really know sometimes, right?
Yeah, we used to see them pick Batrider and Doom together pretty quickly. I mean, maybe we'll see it right here. But the flex potential there with Whisper, Ari willing to play the 4 support Doom, it did open some stuff up for them. They seem to have moved away from it. You know, maybe they didn't feel like they were playing well enough around it. It wasn't quite having the results that maybe it was in scrims. I don't think they've done it the last couple drafts, but you could always bring it back.
You could look for something like a Primal Beast, seeing that, like, it does do pretty well against Timbersaw Crystal Maiden. The only downside would be if they decide to move the Crystal Maiden and pick something like a Clockwork as your next support, and then it causes some issues for your hero. But I feel like Primal Beast has been a pretty stable pick for the most part in this tournament. Other options are still going for the Mars. You can take it away from Falcons. Whisper has a lot of experience from that. It is capable of caging the Timbersaw, which is important.
You spent a lot of time on this pick, though.
It's an important one.
I suppose that's true. I feel like a flex hero would be ideal here. Okay, they do go for the Doom in the end, which I was thinking flex between the cores, but this is actually for pretty much only OG. The flex here of Batrider Doom could be the 3, could be the 4. You just don't quite know.
Heck, it could be the 5, maybe. You don't even really know, because, again, with Rubik being the other flex hero that they like to pick, you don't really know where these are going, and Batrider and Rubik have both been played in the 5 positions.
OG played offlane Rubik. Ruined Pubs
yeah, that's
for
what I'm saying,
days
right?
there.
Yeah, Whisper going like Dagon 5 Rubik in the offlane, right? Like, you don't really know where these heroes are going. It's a little bit of a cheeky opener here for OG. Whether or not it pays off, we'll have to see. They go for the Wraith King here on Falcons, a classic counter to the Doom.
I was wondering, because once you see the Doom, you know you need a couple heroes who don't care as much about being doomed. We've seen some like Medusas, which I thought maybe they could save for last pick potentially. But Wraith King, wasn't picked too much throughout this tournament. We're starting to see him a little bit more. Wind Ranger's another interesting pick where could be a 4 support, could be one of your cores, probably your well, I don't know. I guess you could run offlane Wraith King, but it doesn't really.
It's
Like
probably just
carry.
mid-lane Wind Ranger.
Yeah, probably just like mid Wind Ranger. It does mean your support pick is last though, which is interesting. So I feel
I kind of like it.
I guess so. I guess you might have been banned, but you could run it. Crit can do it. He did it in the past, I think. So
Yeah.
some flex there, but like both these heroes. Okay, Wraith King definitely does not care if he gets doomed, because if he dies, he just comes back anyways. Wind Ranger, as long as you get Focus Fire off and hopefully your win run, and after that, you don't care as much about being doomed, just because you just like you attack anyways and it doesn't matter. Of course, if you jump her first, that's sad. But being a universal hero, she doesn't care about building Lincolns pretty quickly, so it's not that easy to doom her. Timber, of course, will care about being doomed.
That's
can build a
interesting. They go for
Lincolns.
BZM Puck.
I think he just fine.
Do you like the
versus
Puck here?
Wind Ranger. I think it's like okay versus the Wind Ranger in the mid lane. You can dodge the power shots. I think you kind of trade and farm, and then you need some kind of playmaker. It is interesting into the Wraith King though, since I don't know, you like coil him and then he just dies and comes back. I guess coil plus lasso and telekinesis is kind of cool. I'm okay with it as just a general pick, because I feel like they've been prioritizing Tomato's hero, trying to give him the best game possible. So I think picking a relatively generic mid laner is fine. Yeah, gonna ban out that sniper. Don't want to have to deal with that. Picking the puck, banning to protect it, and then picking Tomato's hero here at the end, I think is fine.
I kind of like the Wind Ranger for this possibility of an Alch counter, because we do see Alchemist picked a lot of times versus the Wraith King. You already have a Timber Saw, which is very good into an Alchemist, but Focus Fire might be enough like good single target damage, even from the support position, to try and help slow down an Alchemist. So I'm wondering if that's the idea, but maybe Timbersaw is just too good against an Alch that they don't even want to pick it into the Wraith King.
I think it would be a pretty tough lane, especially because Falcons has the overall last pick. So if you do see the Alchemist, I feel like you'd be able to counter it in some way.
We're going to see the Morph ban for Tomato, which he's had a lot of experience on. They actually banned the Lifestealer. I was wondering about this because it sucks against Timbersaw in lane, but as the game goes on, it might be good enough if it manages to find space to farm. So that's nice for them. They actually end up just banning out the Lifestealer. Trying to think like classic Tomato heroes here. I mean, you could go for something like a Terrorblade. They get rid of Huskar, which we saw Malrine actually run earlier.
It's interesting into the Doom, but guess you just don't want to get Huskard and dumpster the puck. You just go for the Luna.
Just straightforward Luna. All right. Decent lane counter to the Timber. Doesn't struggle too much against the hero. Gives you some good magic damage. Wraith King has a little bit of a hard time getting on top of this Luna, but now the real question is where they're going to pick here last, because Void Spirit doesn't seem too bad if you want to play into the puck lane. Gives you something also to play aggressive with. Or Pango? Is Pango just available? It actually is, but the question of do you want to play Pango into puck? We'll see.
I think I'm okay with either of those. I think Pango's more natural Lincoln's builder, which I think could be nice.
Got a few seconds for us to find out. It could swap these entire games around. We'll see. It is. It's going to be Mars into the off lane, so they will take Malrine's Timber to the mid, And once again, we see this is exactly what they did yesterday. They go for like a late Mars pick on their draft, and they just move the Timbersaw mid, and they feel super comfortable doing this. The triple strength core once again. I think it was previously with DK. This time it's with Wraith King.
I feel like Mars used to be more prioritized. A lot of teams were picking him pretty early, but then realizing there were quite a few carries that didn't care, like the Faceless Void, Morphling, Lifestealer, the last 3 bans we actually see down there. So I think Falcons, probably the best Mars team, right, out there. They've kind of recognized Mars is still a good hero, but if you pick it too early, there's too many ways to respond to it to make it not a very good Mars game. So holding off to the very end and having flexible picks means that if it does look good, and I would trust Amar with my life to tell me what a good Mars game is, right? If he says, yeah, pick me the Mars, you go, okay, buddy, like lock it in, right? And I think we'll see a very good Mars performance. I trust him with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. Tomato should also have a decent lane, though. I think the Luna is not going to be pressured out too much, so I think he's going to be able to find his farm. The big question will be kind of how active this like Whisper Doom and BZM Puck can get, because you've got to be able to match the momentum that this Timbersaw is going to bring. And I don't know if Timbersaw cares all that much about a Puck in the mid lane, so we will have to see.
Yeah, we did talk about some flexible picks, so it is going to be Ari on the Rubik and Seb on the Batrider, and then Crit is going to pick up the Wind Ranger, which I'm curious to see. We don't see very many support Wind Rangers. Actually, one of the only other teams that does it is OG on the like position 5 Wind Ranger. It's a hero that can scale quite well if the games go that late. Otherwise, in the early game, it comes down a lot to landing your skill shots, the power shot and the shackle, which can be a little tricky with the Mars, actually. I wonder if we're going to see some counter synergy. Actually, the Timbersaw as well. Shackle shot might be pretty tough this game.
Yeah, but it's Crit, man. This guy is so good. He just makes it happen,
is true.
Right? So here we go into game number 1 of our final series, everyone. If you are just tuning in, pretty good timing. Falcons versus OG. OG with some very needed wins here, right? Like, they actually do need to get some wins under their belt. They do not want to drop this series, as they haven't played too many games, but they still only have 3 wins. Dropping to 3-7 would be pretty brutal for them.
Definitely. We'll see if they can do it. I think it starts with Luna having to reach
30 seconds to battle.
A critical mass. I feel like the shard on Moonglaves is really good versus Wraith King when he comes to kill you. So if Tomato is properly farmed, which we've seen a lot of Lunas do, I can see them being able to play around it. The worry is Mars having a good time in the lane, hunting you down. Timber having a good time, being able to just chase you in your jungle, push the tempo.
Battle begins.
Wraith King is also a very fast farming carry. So I feel like even if he loses his lane, he will also be farming. And it's harder to kill a Wraith King, I think, than a Luna.
I would have to agree with that, actually. Like, at some point in this game, your Luna can definitely be, like, caught off and bursted down from, like, maybe, like, a Blink Hex from the Timbersaw.
Yeah.
But Wraith King, it's like, oh, no, you Blink Hex killed my Wraith King, and he just respawns, right?
He's back.
It's a little bit of a difference there. We'll have to see, though. I think Luna should be able to outpace the Wraith King. In terms of the lane, like, Wraith King is going to take a lot of magic damage just from the Doom. But Tomato, I think, should be fairly safe against Wind Ranger and Mars.
That's true. I am curious how Wind Ranger versus Batrider will match up. I feel like Batrider should be the stronger support, but we don't see very much Wind Ranger, so let's see if I get surprised.
Seb's just walking at him. I mean, you have 40 more movement speed on the Bat Rider and like 300 more health than the Wind Ranger.
Crazy.
So
Yeah,
the trades are, yeah, that's a wild matchup, actually. Blood Grenade is out. Crit might actually just be dead. Seb's just going to walk him down, and there it is. First blood for the Bat Rider. Well, I think our question has been answered on which
seems
sport
like it.
is stronger. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a great start for the Bat. Has a full wand coming out. Enchant Mango. Probably going to buy another Blood Grenade just in case.
After Wind Ranger gets level 2, that probably won't happen again, but very nice to pick up that kill before she gets there.
Malrine doing very well in the mid lane, sitting at 10 and 3. BZM struggling a little bit just because Timbersod does have quite a bit more damage and the great attack animation, so that's nice. Top lane, they managed to take down the Wraith King. Ooh, opening Infernal Blade level 2. Okay. A lot of times you don't expect it, but that is a lot of damage that comes through.
Yeah, you mentioned it's hard for Wraith King to not take damage early on, which as he gets more levels, the Vampiric Spirit definitely helps to just heal through that. But early on, you're still pretty weak to it. Looks like they're going to capitalize on that.
I mean, that XP bonus is going to be pretty nice because that could get whispered to level 2 Scorched Earth, or he could go for his Devour if he wants to start greeting out. But I think ideally he's going to want to keep the pressure on as he will get his boots. Bottom lane, I'm still just seeing Seb walk it crit over and over, and it's got to feel kind of bad. They want to play for the 3-minute Lotus here. Seb does get the Firefly off, tries to steal it. Great spear. No mana, or no Lucent Beam either to cancel that one out. So they will be able to grab the Lotus. That's quite good for them. Now, right now, it looks like Doom CS is exceptionally high, but I will say some of these are skeletons, so you do have to consider that some of this is worth no gold at all, or even just 5 gold, so we'll don't have to be too worried if you're a Falcons fan here. Like, oh my god, this Doom.
Yeah. Yeah, the skeletons will skew the last hit numbers here this game. It's not the same as the Alchemist we saw, where got so much money from those skeletons.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious to watch. Just walks to a lane, gets 300 gold from killing a bunch of skeletons.
I'm curious what Crit's game plan is going to be for this early game, because we see him getting bullied in the lane for now. Roaming mid, not easy. Not against the puck. It's very difficult to land the shackle shot there. So maybe just stacks from him, especially as he picks up his boots. He can stack for his team.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I guess he
that's
contributes to
probably
the
play.
power shot damage. Like anytime that you land a spear or arena trap someone later on, it's a good chunk of early damage.
I'll say
He's gonna stack.
Malrine is
Oh, never
gonna
mind.
hit level 6 mid lane here fairly quick, and BZM needs to be careful. All right, never mind. He managed to pull the wave away. He's gonna be okay. Well, top lane looking for Snaking. They get themselves another kill. This one, he does end up going for the Devour. Finds the Mud Golem, so has the Boulder Toss, which is quite good. Whisper like offensively pulled there. They've got a catapult wave coming in. It doesn't stick around for too long, but I think he was hoping it would stay on the small camp. But now they're gonna set this up for a dive here onto Skitter. Seb on this Bat Rider. I mean, he's one you got to be very careful about as well. He does a ton of damage, but the TP's in from Crit. They've got one. Whisper gets sniped. The mini Doom's gonna start throwing these stones, trying to help bring down Snake King. Ari telekinesis him back on in. Crit trying to bring down Ari. They do. Gets himself a double kill. The Wind Ranger very happy about that one.
They kill Ari first, too. That was a split-second difference, but it does mean Crystal Man gets some XP, whereas Ari does not.
All right. Getting the Wraith King first still hurts quite a bit, but they're looking for Amar bottom. BZM has an Amplify damage rune and Coil. There is no way he gets away from this one, surely. Great rotation there from BZM. The bottle refill, not quite there, but he's got a bounty rune to pick up on the way.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Malreen's on the move. I wonder if he's going to try to steal the Wisdom rune or just checking for stacks.
Dire
Looks like he's placing an observer.
He walked by a watcher. He has to get this. They know he's coming up here, so Seb going underneath the tower. He's going to immediately TP back for the Wisdom Rune. Does not want to risk giving this one over to the Timber Saw. And with Flame Break, it should be pretty straightforward if he doesn't die first. Timber chains through. Doesn't get it, but he's going to find himself one kill now. Potentially a second on the Whisper. That is a lot of damage. A great shackle out from Crit. That is very nice. Ari trying to find Crit underneath the tower. Boulder 1. Boulder 2. Skitter also getting a lot of damage here into the tower with this catapult wave. This catapult is still alive. Okay. Here comes BZM.
As long as BZM doesn't find anything from this rotation, I think you're pretty happy with that on Falcons. You didn't steal the Wisdom Rune like you wanted to, but you secured your own and picked up 2 kills, so...
They're not done either. They're looking for Whisper again. Malreena's still here. They get a nice stun here onto Whisper. He's doing his best just to kite this one out, but Malreen just doing way too much damage on this Timber Saw. Another set of boulder tosses. Tries to finish off Crit. He got 50 HP. But they see all the movements from BZM. They had 2 wards here, right? The top one at their own ramp, and then, of course, the other towards the river. So they see this puck the entire time. Mid lane Snaking's going to go down, but... I mean, you're super happy about the pressure you've now put on top and giving Skitter an amazing comeback in this game.
That was 2 kills in a row on the Doom, so he teleported back in. Now he's just got to walk back out. And like you said, tons of space for Skitter, who was, he was suffering a little bit. Died twice in that laning stage, but after all that, he's pretty much back.
Looking for Amar. He's going to pop the coil. The silence to follow. Do they have the damage to actually kill him is the question. There's your arena. The spear is out. They're going to scout the TPs coming through. BZM with the Arcane Rune might be able to give chase. Instead, will back away. They force 2 heroes bottom. Trade coil for the arena as he's going to have to clear up mid-wave now.
Skitter gets killed top, but he has his ultimate, so... no actual death for now. Maybe they make another play. That's 3 minutes without his ultimate. He might just stay in the jungle for the next 3 minutes, though.
Yeah, I think especially since Whisper's getting close to 6, you have to be careful.
Seb is interested in the real kill.
Ari is level 6 on the Rubik. Wait a minute. He's the one who survived like every engagement top, and he got the Wisdom Rune XP earlier, so quite nice for him. Seb will scout. See Skitter here. He's also level 6 on the Batrider. He's got a lasso. Will pull them right back in. Okay, maybe you don't even need Doom to be 6. Your supports are bringing the big spells.
The OG supports. Sometimes your supports get the kills and live, and they get high level, but they can't do anything with it. But these are 2 supports that you are very happy to see have a strong start. Rubik able to steal a lot of really good spells this game, and then Seb with the early lasso gets a kill there. Gonna help him. Looks like he's gonna finish Arcane Boots, but I imagine Blink will be next, and he'll be able to initiate for his team. That is really nice to get online.
Yeah, how close is he? Okay, yeah, he has the Arcane Boots. Okay. And then he's a Blink Dagger away from Blink Dagger, as we like to say.
It'll be fast for a Batrider, though.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Well, we say that actually last game.
They really want this bottom tower, but they're hoping Tomato was going to stick around. He immediately backs off when the fortification is there, knowing something's up. They will scout them all with this deep ward as they see them retreating. They smoked up on OG as well, hoping to maybe get a fight. Okay, well, fairly even start for both teams. A lot of good rotations, a lot of good kills, but Malrine was kind of the big winner, right? He's level 9 on this Timber Saw. He's got Kaya done on his way to Eternal Shroud. He's got some big stackies to finish up in the jungle. He's very happy.
And looks like he's choosing to go for an Eternal Shroud nice and early. There is so much magic damage in this early game. It's going to become really difficult to kill Timber once he grabs this. I bet he picks up the cloak first to start. Sange later on too, I imagine, to finish Kaya Sange will then make the Doom such a short duration. Well, she's actually just... Oh, he hasn't skipped it. He just hasn't skilled anything yet. Hasn't decided on the Doom what he wants to level up.
Yeah, I mean... I was gonna say, you probably start maxing Devour or putting points into Devour because the game is slowing down a little bit, and you can probably afford to be a little bit greedier, start getting that bonus gold rolling.
Radiant are scanning.
He also does want to make sure he can get like a Centaur Stomp if he wants to go back for Blink Dagger, etc. They are smoked to the bottom lane, hoping to find the Luna, and instead... Wait a minute. What's going on here? Ahri finds Skitter on the top side, but here comes Malrine as well. A huge Timber Chain on through. Whisper's got the Doom available, but he does not want to use it. He's just going to go for the TP. He will make it out. Oh, that smoke rotation ends up paying dividends here from Falcons.
Who found who there? Skeeter pretty happy with that. He's finished his armlet. He's going to work on his Radiance now. Gets the kill on Seb. Nice little chunk of gold.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that's really nice. Did he max the crit again? Okay, he's at 1 through 3. In previous matches, we've seen him skip maxing the Vamp Spirit and actually max out Mortal Strike because the cooldown and crit increase is quite good for farming and damage. But we'll see which one he goes for the 4th point in. At this point, you might just max the Vamp Spirit on 9. Smoke out as they are rotating in. They've got pretty much everything available. Still very far from any Blink Dagger. And Seb's actually decided to go for a mech instead. BCM will be able to orb away. They'll see Seb as well. They will not find their opening.
Skitter had 5 skeletons available. Essentially, it's a lot of damage in the early game, so I think they were hoping to find a fight. Actually walking the front. He will.
Well, they know there's a ward there now, as he will steal the Wraithfire Blast on Ahri. Seb, very quick, though, with the 4 points in the Firefly. Doesn't increase movement speed at all, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. Yeah, Blink Arena. That's the Blink reveal from Amar, and Skitter's just trying to close the gap, looking for Whisper. He has a Dispel, though, from the Purge Creep. In comes Malrine, though. That is a lot of damage. Bottom lane, Seb will be pulling Amar into the tower so he can survive. But Malrine has no such restraint. He's going to continue chasing. He really wants this Bat Rider. Eventually, he should go down. Oh, blink off the mark from Amar. The spear does connect. Skitter comes through. They get him. He will lose his first life, though. The reincarnation is out, and Tomato comes in. They have a coil, but they might not even need to use it. BZM trying to hold it for the moment. The armlet toggling, quite nice. In comes Whisper. Urn is out. The coil will secure the kill. Spear out from Amar. They get on top of the Doom. Does he get to use it? Gets the Dispel here once again as they chase for Snake King. Nice grabs. Great turnaround here from OG. But you still get out on Malrine.
Pretty wild Blink Spear back. I was cutting it real close. I think he was going to die for that. But maybe they kill Doom. It was kind of close. Doom decides to go for a Blink. He had like 3,000 gold after that fight. He didn't get to use Doom that entire time. And I mean, they did okay, but by buying the Blink now, might be able to go find another kill. He's going with Seb. They'll definitely have the damage.
And the Whirling Death stolen on Rubik right now is kind of cracked. He just
A
like
lot of
telekinesis the Wraith King in, Whirling Death, and just instantly popped his first life. Seb going up onto the high ground will scout the Wraith King's skeletons.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are
But mid lane, that mid tower is falling. Focus Fire committed from Crit here. You do have that blink on Amar. Shield Rune also available for Malrine now. Tomato will clear up the wave. He's now taken the top net worth position and in a pretty like large margin now after that bottom fight, right? Like Tomato is 1,000 gold over the Timbersaw, has his Manta completed. He's able to just continue to cut waves. He's in a really good spot. Oh, this smoke. Skitter. This would be huge. He's taking the burn. In comes BZM. They got the coil. Oh my god. That Whirling Death from Ahri. Deleting the health pool. Does 424 pure damage.
That's going to get Ahri his blink too, so it might be even easier to get some big Whirling Deaths coming up here.
That's a really good smoke. Really good find, honestly. Like, taking advantage of that level 1 cooldown from Wraith King. Really nice. Ahri will steal Power Shot now, as he will just clear up the wave. They do have nighttime vision bonus. Oh, where? Where is it? Oh, nice spear back. Seb is dead. He's going to pop the mech, try to survive, but... Power Shot out, doing a lot of damage. Stolen Crystal Nova, Snaking trying to get away, but that's looking really hard. In comes Malrine Whisper. He's got a Dispel and the Doom, throws it immediately onto the Timbersaw. You gotta be careful because Amar, he's still got the full kit available. Here he goes, a nice spear. The arena's there, the Eclipse not doing a whole lot. Skitter's gonna try and close the gap, get on top of the Luna, and Malrine's back. He's got everything, but he's just taking a lot of damage here from Whisper. The nice Blink God's Rebuke from Amar finishes the job. BZM here on the puck, trying to chase for Amar. Gets the coils, gonna snap, gets the kill. 3 for 1. As they might still chase for more. Ahri with this Crystal Nova slowing them quite a bit. Urn is out. He's got another Purge if he can get in range. He's so dang close. He does. Skitter. This would be a massive kill. He's trying to Arma toggle through this, but with the Infernal Blade, there's... Okay, I thought there's no way, but apparently you can Arma toggle through that. Really well done from him.
I didn't think he could do that either, actually. I think he wanded first, and maybe that gave him enough health to Arma toggle. Maybe got really lucky with the ticks. I actually forget what the exact tick rate of those spells was, but gets to live and go right back to farming. So maybe not the end of the world after that.
BZM, oh, gonna walk into 2. Does get a lot of damage out onto Snaking here, right? This puck is very scary. There's a regen running. They might just try and finish off Snaking. Yeah, he's going to. There's no hope for that one. Okay.
I think they might have vision
here for OG.
Yeah,
yeah, you think
they have
so?
vision there, but it's actually Puck just going for it.
Whisper, Vessel out onto Amar, silenced up. He's gonna have to Yules, but he's down to 200 HP. Orb will be perfectly timed on the fall. That's 2 fantastic kills. As they're still looking for more. Dude, Ahri has Frostbite now as well.
Such a long range Frostbite too. OG's on fire right now. They're finding fight after fight. BZM's playing really well too. Yeah, I feel like they've been sacking him a little bit in some of their recent games where he has not been having the greatest time, but so far doing amazingly well on this puck.
Also, Whisper going for the Purge creep and then a Vessel is kind of sick because he's instantly dispelling every Frostbite that comes out onto him and just like continuing to fight. He's also just using it offensively to just make sure that, you know, Wind Ranger can't get away with Wind Run. It's pretty cool.
It's actually nuts. I didn't realize it was only a 3-second cooldown spell. So you're right. He's literally got the option to remove every single Frostbite, but it is a lot of mana. 120. How come it says 115?
It's bugged.
I see. Well, one of those mana costs, they're both quite high for a hero like Doom, so does have to be a little picky on how many purges and dispels he uses, but very cool option.
There's a really good smoke from Falcons, reading Tomato perfectly. There's going to be the Yules. The Spear, it actually misses. Tomato's going to get the Eclipse and the turnaround. Trying to get Snake King, Whisper onto the backside. The Gale Force will slow them up, but he's not done chasing. Trying to stay on top of Amar. He gets the Spear back, and that might be enough for him to get the blink. It will. Crit, nice power shot again. Whisper trying to chase. Blink forward, gets the Vessel out onto Crit. Blood Grenade off the mark, but he's just waiting for the wind run. Oh, nice. Power shot as well. Seb is here, going for the Gale Force once again. Instantly dispels the wind run. And yeah, it's a death for sure, but he buys a little bit of time. Stolen Shackle shot from Ahri, though, is a little bit scary.
That's a very long stun. He's got Blink to set it up too. A very rare miss from Amar there.
Absolutely.
They might kill Luna in time if he lands that. They would probably still lose some heroes in return because that was a fast response by OG. But
they know he's on the Watcher here. Seb finds him. He gets Amar. There's the lasso. And that is a super dead Amar. Again, will fall down into a lot of fire. Dude, that was a really sick play from Seb. He comes through the Twin Gate, just perfectly misses the creep vision, and yeah, scouts him going for the Lotus Pool. Really well done.
Wraith King's almost at Radiance. Do you think that'll change the way these fights have been going?
I would say if you got it before Tomato's BKB, but he's level 17 with a BKB now, about to be level 18. I think they're going to go for the Watcher as well if they want to group for this. Like, they just need BZM and Whisper to make the rotation over, but they're currently scouting for mid lane. So they have a good ward. Excuse me. We'll see Crit and Snake King. Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's worth diving for supports. Tier 2 falls, no contest?
I feel like they got to go for the Tormentor now, right?
He's
yeah,
walking
they're coming over now. So,
shard-wise, Rubik, really good to have. Bat Rider, not so much.
You kind of hope it goes to the Rubik, but we'll see. And it goes to the Bat Rider. That was the literal worst shard of the game.
Unluck. Well, you can still go back for your own, at which point Rubik or Doom could get it. Doom shard not that bad. Better than Bat Riders at least. I think you still want it on the Rubik.
Doom's is pretty good because of the Scorched Earth talents, right? You end up getting a lot of healing out of it if you're hitting multiple units. Top tier 1 tower, it's going to fall to Amar, but the trade possibly for Roshan as Ahri is hiding back here. Gets a good, really deep ward placed in the lane. So it's a 10k lead at the moment for OG. How do they feel taking this at the moment? Looks like they're actually positioning for a fight. BZM trying to find something. Blinks back, Seb is here. There's going to be the arena, but no, he gets lassoed up onto the high ground. Amar still gets the arena off Seb with the mech, but here comes Whisper, dooms up the Mars. He just TP's home. He might still burn in the fountain. He does. He's got the Vessel on him. He's not making out of that one. And the question is, can you get more?
Well,
never mind. He does live. Okay, somehow he survives. That's a great win. Almost gets Wraith King Reincarnation. Nice Shackle out here onto the Timber Saw. Nareen wants the Timber Chain away. Will be able to. Oh, man. OG getting nothing out of this. That was like your Parasma reveal. That was, you know, a good lasso, like cliffing him up onto the high ground. But he didn't have vision. And eventually he just TPs.
I think considering you thought you might lose the puck there, I think you're kind of okay the fact that you saved him. I guess you did use Doom and didn't get anything out of it, though, which feels a little sad.
They're smoked. Tomato might be walking right into this, and as the night vision advantage, he will scout Malrine. So he knows they're here.
Still has
Here
Aegis
comes
for
Skitter.
40 seconds.
Ahri trying to get away. Great Yules. They managed to pop Crit onto the backside as well. A lot of damage. Spear's going to catch the Luna. He's got the Aegis, of course. Trading his reincarnation for the Wraith Kings. Not a bad start, but Tomato's still alive. There he goes. His BKB for his second life. Seb Looking for maybe a lasso target, but here comes Tomato. The great coil from BZM. Sets up for the Crystal Maiden as well. And Seb, he's still got a lasso, looking for Malrine, and it's got him. Really well timed. Shackle from Seb's, from Crit's not in time. As another purge from Whisper will stop the wind run. This guy, this spell is actually owning Falcons. It is wild. They're looking for Amar in the base. I don't think they can get him, but dude, OG, like you said, on fire right now.
I don't know. I don't even know what like is wrong on the side of Falcons. We saw like a little bit of a misplay earlier, but it feels like OG is just ready for all the plays that Falcon is trying to make. I don't know if like the vision, if I haven't been paying enough attention that they've scouted everything, but they're always ready for all of these fights, and because they're ahead, all the fights are then going their way. Falcons is trying to find like some pickoffs, things like that to get back into it, but when you bring even heroes every fight, it's just not working out. There's been some really fast Yules too by not just like the purchase, but like quick reactions on it. Skeeter trying to like blink and stun people, instantly Yules in like the previous fight.
Yeah, I will say there's one thing to also notice. A lot of the moves that have been made are during nighttime, where the Luna has like a massive advantage, right? Like being able to see these heroes from substantially farther away, or like smokes not connecting entirely. And then you have like the illusions as well, right? Getting the same bonus vision. And maybe that is enough of a difference, like playing into nighttime against Luna. But Puck's almost a BKB, 40 gold away. He's going to get it right there. We've got the BKB done on the Doom. Tomato hits his level 20, and he is Conda in 130 gold. So they're about to hit another series of big power spikes on OG. Malrine does have, BKB done for him. He's queued up the Scythe. We knew that's kind of the thing he likes to go for eventually. He's going to be able to steal the Wisdom Rune, probably get his level 18 talent, or level 18 fairly soon. Seb knows something's up there. There's a ward. Oh no, come on, it's an obs. You're gonna. Okay, they don't kill the ward. But whatever. Tomato's on the high ground. More importantly, he wants to start getting to work on the tier 3 towers. Does not have an Aegis. Does not feel like he needs one. Apparently.
Down.
That actually died so fast. I like the call to retreat here. I don't think you actually want to go too far. Stolen Chakram from Ahri. That's a lot of burst damage. Okay. I mean, Roshan, it's a while before it's up, right? We saw them like kind of lose it here fairly recently. So maybe you play for next Rosh as it would spawn on the Radiant side. But they are in a good position to hold basically mid and bottom lane like indefinitely, right? That's one of the advantages of being able to control the enemy triangle and having an illusion hero. Oh, they actually get on top of Malrine. He takes a decent amount of burst damage there. Able to Timber Chain away. What can Falcons do right now?
I think they need these hexes. I don't know if it's too late, but I was thinking about their early game, which both sides had things going for them. Like Timber was having a really good game.
Oh, the lasso. Timbersaw just gets deleted. Wow. They just called Falcons bluff. They're like, they're not ready. They're like, we actually see them on the top lane ward, which was really nice. Ooh, Gale Force, a little bit scary. Gotta be careful. They can come right back in. Snaking taking a lot of damage from these glaives. He's just dying immediately. Popped by BZM with the Parasma. And now the other lane of... the range barracks gone. That is a full lane with both forts down. Tomato says he doesn't need the Aegis. They still have Doom. They still have Coil. They only committed Lasso and the Eclipse. BKBs are all up. Falcons, you've got to make a play. Coil, it's actually going to trap Amar onto the backside. The Telekinesis is there. The Chakram is there. He's just taking so much damage. He's dead. It does not have buyback. BZM gets the BKB out. He is playing like a monster on this Puck.
I think I think they're gonna go for the tier 3 here. They're gonna call the bluff on no buyback.
No, now what?
Thinking back on
You
it,
still have Doom.
Is under attack.
yeah, I mean, like they don't have to back. When Mars is close to being up, they'll back. But I think at that point they've already got the barracks.
You have a lasso up on Seb, is the thing. Like, he could just go again. They're going to be able to go on top of the Luna. She gets the BKB off for the moment, surviving this Chakram. The BKB is not going to protect you from the Doom. And honestly, Falcons just get deleted. The whole team gone. GG comes out, and a really convincing game one here from OG. What a performance.
Very nice. A much needed win for OG too. And this is a very impressive team to be getting this kind of win on, because they look so good. I think it comes back to that draft. I think that Wind Ranger pick was interesting, but in hindsight, when they then finish off with the Mars, it left some holes in their draft. One, Wind Ranger 4 is just a little awkward right now if you don't have a great game, which we saw off the laning stage. It got first blooded by Bat Rider just running at her, right? And then off of that, Timbersaw was doing well. He had the damage. But how does he do the damage? They started having issues with that on getting to, for example, the Puck, who was also having a good game. They just didn't have the crowd control. They have Shackle Shot and Spear to try to set things up. Those are not easy to use on the Puck, on all these other heroes. Crystal Maiden has to like slowly walk up for the Frostbite. So it just felt like in a lot of the early fights, OG had better tools, especially because their supports were so rich. I don't even remember how that fully happened, but they both hit such early level 6 timings and immediately got tons of value out of it. They found the kills right away off of that. I think that set OG up to be in a good spot. Team Falcons eventually picked up some items to try to make plays, but it just felt they were a little bit behind. The plays maybe could have worked, but OG was just so fast on it. They were ready for it and showed up to every fight and just kept their lead up. You know, we see it here. This was like one of the better plays for Falcons in the early game, where they OG thought they were getting skitter, so they all clumped up, and that made it easy. We finally get to see all the damage come out from Falcons. But let me see. Let's see what the next highlight is. Maybe it'll demonstrate the point we're making here. Yeah, just
this is the one where they stay a little bit too long.
Misses. Yeah, some uncharacteristic misses from some of the Falcons players on their abilities this time around. But it's just so much easier, right? They TP in. I think they kill Skitter here. And then they have the tools to just keep chasing.
Yeah, I think they also get Crystal Maiden, right? The Spear comes forward, Amar dies, Malrine gets out, and then they just chase down Crystal Maiden. Like, BZM on the Puck this game goes 11, 0, and 10. Like, he had almost no threat. You look at the heroes on the side of Falcons, who's going to control the Puck, right? When you open stuff like Wraith King and a Timbersaw and a Crystal Maiden, it's like, there's not a lot of tools to hold him in place. And yeah, BZM showing, like, you give him a hero like this that can thrive in a game, and absolute stellar performance.
Which is great. I think he was having a rough time earlier in the tournament, so it's awesome to see him getting back into form here.
Yeah, this the arenas felt a little bit underwhelming this game, just because the follow-up wasn't always there, right? You didn't have like a blink on Wraith King early on to go in with him. It took him a bit. He had to get to his Radiance. And then Timbersaw also not going for a blink this game because he needs to get a BKB. So you have this like initiation from the Mars with this blink Yules, but the response is just so much easier for OG. And you're kind of just lacking that follow-up damage. This fight was funny. You know, clips the Mars. Thought for sure he was going to die in the fountain, but ends up surviving on about 100 HP. They, one thing too, like, Whisper going this like purge creep, you think maybe just early on it's great. He actually holds it for the entire game. It had so much value.
Yeah, it was a really cool pickup from him. Very tempting to go for some of the other creep auras or abilities, but kind of recognizing just need the dispel this game, because Frostbite is one of the few crowd control tools they have, and you can just take that away from them. Then it's even easier for your Puck or any hero to just move around in these fights.
Yeah, I really liked their performance here. They get, once they have their BKBs too, like, I actually don't know how they ever kill their targets, right? A lot of the damage from the Timbersaw gets kind of wasted during that BKB duration, and Crit doesn't really get to play the game, unfortunately. This Vessel as well, also just doing a ton of work. Whisper's item build is kind of, it's not what you would expect from an offlane Doom, but it works perfectly in a game like this. And the stolen Chakram from the Rubik there we see in the late game, like both Mars and both like Wraith King and Timbersaw go in and they just take like 700 pure damage from a Rubik who throws the Chakram right through him. Like it's pretty huge.
Yeah, I think it was just a very nice draft from OG and then very well executed. I think, yeah, that Wind Ranger pick, I think is maybe where it started. Just did not get to feel the impact from that hero in this game. And I imagine if you pick a different, more typical initiating for support, then maybe it's easier for Timber to play the game, to set up some chain stuns with the Mars, get a little bit more impact that way. But yeah, easy to say after seeing the game play out.
Yeah, it was a fun game 1. We'll see what OG can do in game 2. Maybe Falcons can pull it back, tie up the series. But we're going to go to a break right now, and we'll be back with our final game of the evening. We'll see you in a sec. It's the final game of the evening, everyone. Falcons versus OG. Excited to see what's going to happen, right? The OG coming up in game 1, maybe a little bit surprising, I think, for some people. But yeah, it was a really great performance, Zach, right?
Yeah, I think OG has definitely shown some strong potential when things come together. And early in the tournament, it was a little hit or miss. Like sometimes they looked pretty good, sometimes they looked a little shaky. But this time they looked like they came prepared. I think their draft opener was really cool, a very flexible series of heroes that I think that's where Falcons was trying to, oh, if they do this, we'll do that. We'll put our hero here. Like they were trying to match that mind game, but it ended up with a Wind Ranger for support, Mars off lane, which I think that last pick, like I don't know where you want to adjust it, but I think it just did not quite come together in those last like 2 to 3 picks for Team Falcons. And it made, Timbersaw still had a great game against that puck, but after the side lanes kind of struggled a little bit, they just lacked the playmaking potential. So I'm curious to see how they'll adjust coming into game 2. I don't think the openers were strictly a problem, but it looks like they've already taken out the Bat Rider as an adjustment from last game.
Yeah, I think getting rid of the bats makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, like the Luna was also a massive problem for the Timbersaw. Like you have this scenario of like they go for this early Timbersaw, you ban out Tomato's Morphling, which is great, but you don't have the kind of strength. Like you don't have a way of like just running in on the Timbersaw without having to be kind of worried about what Tomato's going to do. And so if you go for the Timbersaw, maybe you got to be careful of that Luna pick. They do open the Disruptor. It was first phase banned last time, and this hero has looked really good, so OG will snag it for themselves. They could still go for the Timbersaw again on Falcons, or they will. Okay, so I don't know why I said or. They're just going to do it.
I thought maybe like Shadow Demon could be cool, but yeah, it looks like they'll go for Timber again. It is one of their like I don't know, power picks, I guess, because both Amar and Malrine play such a good Timbersaw. I don't think Timbersaw alone. I don't know if there's ever a draft nowadays in the current meta where I'm like, yeah, Timbersaw was the problem. Like for your draft, don't pick Timber, right? I think it's totally fine to go back for it. It is a little scary because you have to deal with Disruptor, which is already annoying. But both of these players have played so much Timbersaw. I'm sure they're confident in dealing with it. I think you need to enable the Timbersaw a little bit better. I think they sort of tried with the Mars pick, but I think in that particular game, it was just too hard to land the Spear arenas to set up the Mars. So it might still work depending on the draft, like later on, we'll see, but something a little more consistent initiation, I think would help to transition from the strong laning stage the Timbersaw often has into actual early to mid game impact.
I wonder what they're going to... Okay, so do you end up getting rid of the Shadow Demon Tiny again, which we see as like a, kind of target bans to Falcons. Not giving crit his Tiny is really important. But you still have a lot of heroes to worry about now with the Timbersaw. We see the Morphling as pretty much the most common ban against this. It's also one of Tomato's best heroes, but it leaves in the Luna, and it also leaves in the Templar Assassin, which got banned out last game, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to run this for Amar, you need to be very careful about which hero you let in the pool.
They take away Doom, and they add in the Enchantress this time. So it should be a stronger lane, whatever you end up playing into. Disruptor's a little stronger in the lane than it used to be, but still dealing with an Enchantress will be quite difficult, especially once she hits level 3 and gets creeps. Just running at the Disruptor, he does not deal with those very well. So whatever you end up picking for your carry should have a decent time on the side of Falcons.
Should, right? Ideally.
Yeah,
That's like
we'll
the
see.
keyword. It's like maybe OG pulls out some interesting off-lane duo. I think Ari and Whisper definitely do some interesting stuff on that duo, so got to be careful. They'll grab the Gyrocopter, which we've seen a lot in this tournament so far. You can play it in the support, plays well into the Timbersaw lane, gives you a lot of kill threat into an Enchantress as well. So I don't mind this being a support, but giving the option to flex it this early, I think, is really strong.
Mm-hmm. What else can you run? I'm trying to think of what else Ari has played. I guess you can't actually pick the other support quite yet if you want to hide it.
Oh boy.
Interesting.
Is this a bait? Is this a bait? Or where's this Marcy going?
So we've only seen Marcy matched up with the IO.
Oh, it's 5
Otherwise-
Marcy.
Otherwise, it's support Marcy. Yeah.
It might be 5 Marcy with a core gyro.
That is a pretty good pairing. I feel like there's better supports than Marcy. I mean, he's definitely catching us off guard, so maybe it's catching Falcons off guard.
We'll have to see, right, as the draft develops. I just wonder if that's the idea. Like, Seb wants to pick the Marcy into the Timbersaw, or like as the game develops, it's also a support that has kill threat onto the Enchantress because of Unleash.
Yeah, the thing is with like Marcy support, I think there's like 2 ways to run it. One, you can get kills in the lane through dispose and rebound. But without fully knowing your matchups yet, I think that's difficult to expect. The other is maxing sidekick and you're just harassing, playing it out that way, which that's a relatively safer approach. But again, without knowing the matchup, it feels scary. We'll see if Falcons can punish this somehow. Potentially with an Alchemist.
Okay. We'll see where this ends up going. I feel like a lot of times, like, Alchemist is a... like, it's not like a cheese pick like it used to be, but I do feel like if you are confident in your other lanes, an Alchemist is also really strong because of how quick you can get, like, the Radiance, Blink, BKB timing. That's got to be crits, Earth Spirit, right?
I think so. I guess technical flex value, but I think you put that on Earth Spirit, mid or carry Alk, depending what you see here, and then you last pick a core. Like, any of the 3 core rolls, actually, depending what you see. Falcons is last pick. I think a little bit more initiation would be really good, whatever they end up going for. Well, actually, if it's Alk mid and he's a little bit more active, that could also kind of work if you pick like a typical farming carry. But if it's not that, I think you need more initiation.
I feel like
They
you
don't
need to
run
pick
into the same
Whisper Zero
issue.
here. But maybe you don't. Maybe just
Maybe
pick
you
BZM's
already
mid lane.
have.
Dude, don't do this to me. Don't tell me it's Marcy off
Offlane disruptor.
I mean, what if they? I mean, it doesn't feel as good to go back for the puck this game, because you do have an Alk who's going to come online pretty easy. He doesn't mind playing around Coil too much.
I think Coddle could be okay. I think someone who builds Spirit Vessel looks really good right now. Or if you want to be an absolute baller, core Ancient Apparition.
I feel like OG are ballers, but I don't know if we're going to see core Ancient Apparition.
Do it.
They are running out of time here. I'm trying to think of what they could go for.
Whisper's trying to convince him, I can do it. Offlane Ancient, give it to me.
So you just go back for BZM's puck. I mean, he had a great game 1 on it. It doesn't, like, on paper, it doesn't look as good this game because, right, your support duo is Enchantress Earth Spirit, much tankier than what we saw last game, right, in the form of, like, the Wind Ranger Crystal Maiden. So he doesn't have as much pickoff potential, but
I'm also
Coil,
worried.
still a great tool.
Yeah, I'm also worried for, depending what that match... Like, let's say it's Timber again versus the puck. Timber started off well. This time, rotate in an Enchantress with a creep and an Earth Spirit, right? That's much scarier for puck to deal with. Now, you do have some, like, your own supports, right? We're not sure what yet, but at least the Disruptor is going to be a support, so maybe you got some glimpse play, stuff like that. But I think Falcons is much more equipped this time to capitalize on the Timber early game. I still want a bit more initiation here, though, from whatever their last pick is.
Yeah, I think the Primal Beast ban is actually very good. That would have done a lot of work this game. Tons of damage. It's so funny with Marcy's rebound as well. Like, he ends up just getting zoomed under the trample. I actually used to run a lot of 3-4 off lanes as Marcy Primal Beast. It was a good time. Which you could do, honestly, if you had the Primal Beast this game. You can just go like dispose into rebound and just kill any hero.
Could have been fun.
Magnus ban as well. That's a good one. Lanes very well into the Alchemist. What about Slardar?
That could be cool.
Is that good enough? Or do you just go for something like an Underlord?
For OG?
Yeah. Because I feel like they need Whisper's hero.
It could be good in terms of shutting down the Underlord in the lane. I'm worried about Timber's impact overall if you pick another strength-ish melee hero, but I think it's maybe a little bit unavoidable. I think you kind of have to coming up here.
Sniper ban. I mean, they're definitely not playing carry Marcy. It's one position gyro at this point. Support, probably 4 position Marcy would be my guess, but you could run it in the safe lane as well.
Get ready to eat your words.
Dude, I would be shocked. It's not something that I've seen Tomato play a bunch, and I know Ari actually likes playing the Marcy. There it is. Dawnbreaker for Whisper. Not a hero we see all that often, but is pretty good into an Alchemist.
Dude, and the solar eclipse just passed. She can
She's
no
strong
longer be
now.
shut down. Yeah.
If you go like Blade Mail on Dawnbreaker into like Phase Boots, it doesn't scream like a great Ags game for the Dawnbreaker, but you have the follow-up to like Puck Coil pretty easily, right? If Puck goes in, hits the coil, Dawnbreaker can follow it with the ult. So now what do you need for Falcons?
Sidekick Dawnbreaker sounds kind of sick too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is your off
gonna be,
lane.
but
It's gotta be.
I do think it's into Enchantress though, which is a little scary. I guess it goes both ways. Like, Dawnbreaker doesn't care as much about attack speed, so you could nuke this Enchantress early on if you get on top. But if you can't, because this is you have to full commit kind of lane. Like, that's just the type of hero Dawnbreaker is. If you attempt that and it fails once or twice, and then Enchantress gets to like level 3 and has the creeps running at you, like, I think you're gonna have a rough time.
The thing is like, you might just open Dispose Rebound on Marcy and just play for that and run down anyone in the lane.
Get Viper, nerds.
Okay, that is going to be a Mars Viper for the offlane. Now, into a Gyro, I don't know if they care all that much. It's going to be a little bit rough, but Gyro should be able to sustain the lane. Has to mostly worry about where Crit's positioning is going to be. All right.
Do you
it is.
think we'll see like a lane swap then?
I don't think you want to play Dawnbreaker into it. Oh, you mean like a lane swap from Falcons?
Yeah.
Probably not, because I don't think Alchemist wants to play in the long lane. He wants to be able to like farm the easy camp and stuff behind his tower. It's one of the things that makes Alchemist like really fast. Dude, his Skitter set's actually just hilarious. It's like literally one piece from like 6 different sets. That's good stuff. All right. I'm excited. This should be a fun game. We haven't seen a Viper picked in a while. Actually, I'm going to double check if it's even been picked at all. I'm assuming it has been, right? I'm sure.
I think it has.
Picked.
I think it has. I'm excited to see how this Marcy
picked a couple
Dawnbreaker
times,
lane
yeah.
does.
I think it's good, dude. I look at this. It's like Snake King's going to struggle because if he ends up close at all, the kill threat is there. You don't have a way of stopping the Starbreaker, right? So if you get like rebound on, then disposed into the Dawnbreaker, who will follow it up with a Starbreaker. That's so many spells that I just don't need to say like that. But the amount of physical damage and spell damage that comes out from these two will definitely kill an Enchantress. And you can threaten an Alk with it as well. He's not particularly tanky in the early game.
Yeah, I do think it is 2 melee heroes, though, who are going to have to play into Acid Spray. And if you slip up a little bit, Like, I could see this going either way really quickly, especially off the first fight. If Dawnbreaker and Marcy get the first kill, they could keep doing that, repeat it, keep getting kills. If they screw up, they get killed first. I think it becomes really hard because once you fall behind and you can't 100-0, like, it just doesn't work anymore.
Absolutely. Here we go, everybody. It is the final game of the evening. Team Falcons versus OG. OG grabbing game one in a pretty convincing fashion. See if they can carry that momentum here. But a last pick Viper out from Falcons. Amar, pretty annoying on this hero. We'll have to see if he's able to slow down this core gyrocopter, which Tomato's actually just gone Blades of Attack, triple Iron Branch.
He's going to go for that Falcon Blade pretty quickly, I imagine.
Oh, God.
I'm excited to see Crit play Earth Spirit again.
Yeah, we were talking to him in the interview the other day. He's like, yeah, you know, there's a couple heroes that have been changed. There's slight damage buff on Rolling Boulder. But he was kind of bummed because he's been wanting to play Earth Spirit. It's one of his favorite heroes. It's just not been super popular. No one may be changing everyone's opinion on it, though.
He was inspired. He's like, I'll just do it.
That's a really good smoke gank. Did they see Skitter there?
Oh, they definitely
do now.
Bye, Skitter.
Oh, that Alchemist in some trouble. There's your Dispose. He's got a stun. Starbreaker to hold him down. He's going for the deny, but it's not going to happen. First blood for the Dawnbreaker. And we see right there, right? I mean, obviously some of this damage is assisted by the Gyrocopter, but between Dawnbreaker and Marcy, they do like 350 damage to that Alchemist with those two spells.
Mm-hmm. I don't really understand why Falcons was that spread out for this starting rune. I feel like they were covering their entire riverfront, which feels unnecessary. And it's more likely to be first blooded when you do things like that, which happens a lot nowadays. Immediate roll onto Tomato. Start getting those poison attacks in.
Yeah. I mean, if you can bait out some of the mana from the Viper at level 1 and 2, it's actually not that bad because he wants to play for his level 3. It's like, you can still do a lot of damage on the Viper, but you do have to be mana conscious. And that's why he's got himself an early Mango. Crit might be sacrificing himself here just to get the camp block, and that's going to be easily a kill going the way of Amar. Well done by Crit.
Quick kill for Viper. He's going to get 2 Wraith Bands. I mean, not off that one kill, but he's planning to get 2 Wraith Bands. I mean, he's going to be really annoying in the lane because he's going to probably go like 2-0-2, so that every time you try to use Flat Cannon, he returns damage with Corrosive Haze. This... They got to be careful. You can't give too many kills to this Viper.
Yeah, and I think right now that's like something Seb needs to be a little bit careful about. He does have Glimpse available. He's trying to get in range. We'll pull him back. The missile, the Blood Grenade, a lot of damage from the Rocket Barrage, and Amar's going to go down. Seb on the run, but Crit unable to chase. Tomato taking a lot of damage here in the creep wave. Seb does have another Thunder Strike, but Tomato's got a salve. Ready to fight if he needs to.
Good punish while Viper is still weak. These early levels are the easiest time to kill Viper. The opportunity kind of disappears as he levels up.
Yeah, they're doing great so far in the lanes on OG. They're drawing mid. Bottom lane, Skitter is super dead. That is the combo. You just hit level 3 as well, so it's just going to get more and more difficult. You probably leave Starbreaker at 1, max Celestial Hammer. You could justify Luminosity in this lane because you have a Marcy, but Celestial Hammer always just feels so good to have early levels in.
You might be thinking about it. Oh, never mind. Okay, he finally puts his next point in Celestial Hammer. All right, good start down here. 2 kills on the Dawnbreaker. They got a pull going. Looks like they're going to get the Lotus as well.
Yeah, and he picked up an early Soul Ring to just continue trading, so that definitely means he's going to be maxing out Celestial Hammer, which, oh, off the mark there from Ahri, almost finds Snaking. He does have 9 stick charges, as the Harpy will die. Top lane, Amar hits his level 3, going to start stacking these poison attacks up.
It looks to be going about the same as I was about to say yesterday, the same as the the last game. Timber's a slight lead, but Puck is getting by.
Yeah, I think it was surprising. I thought Malrine was gonna very handedly beat BZM to level 6, but actually ended up recovering the lane really well and had perfectly fine CS. He's getting denied under his tower, which is a little unfortunate. It's just 3 denies under his tower. So, a little bit rough there for the Puck, but it'll be okay.
Ooh, Snaking, level 3, finds an Ogre Frost Mage. This armor is really good against the combo. There's a lot of physical damage to it. They make it harder to kill them.
They'll
Puck's
definitely
rotating
have to make sure to
down
keep
for
that
the...
going.
Yeah, he's rotating down for the Bounty Rune. Don't think he can gank since he has creeps following him right now. Just trying to avoid the Timbersaw. Who also dragged creeps up here and is farming a jungle camp with a...
Why not? He's like, sees BZM going for it. That was a pretty good
Rotation
idea. Meanwhile, top lane, there is the rotation coming through. Tomato is so dead. All right. It is a 2-for-1 favoring Falcons on a 3-hero rotation. That's what happens when you gank this Viper. He just builds up a ton of poison stacks.
I will say the fact that Amar died first is a bit painful because you really do want to pick up an early level lead on Viper, and that's how you can really dominate a lane. So the fact that he dies first is pretty painful for him. Earth Spirit is actually close to level 5 because he lived through all of that on his own. So maybe Crit will be able to get a lot of work done. I mean, I believe in him. This is one of his best heroes.
I'm surprised. Ahri, they actually could have taken the fight near the tower if they wanted, right? Where, like, Amar could have just been tossed in. They're going to see Snaking rotating here. They do manage to get him with the missile, the dispos, and that Enchantress cannot live against that amount of magic damage. And I love Ahri's build here. He is going to max the rebound and dispose. I think when you're playing the support Marcy, those spells have a lot of impact, so... He'll go back for sidekick eventually, which will help Tomato, but he doesn't really need the sidekick right now, right? He wants to be able to just get to his Chrysalis, get to his Falcon Blade, and eventually his Aghanim Scepter.
If you're playing for kills, yeah, I think you gotta skip it for now. Snaking was pretty unlucky there. He had the creep in front, and it just missed Ahri, like around tree vision, so that Ahri then runs into Snaking first instead of the creep, which is what allows him to get the rocket off and then eventually kill him. If it runs into the creep first, Snaking definitely does not die there.
All right, Whisper's level 6 now, so you do have global initiation. You could look for Malrine mid. They are pinging him. You have the coil with an arcane rune still available. This would be a really nice jump. He's going to go on BZM. Malrine maybe thinking it wasn't going to happen. Here comes the initiation. The coil. It's there. They do snap it. They have it dispose into the Starbreaker. He's not going to make it out. Kill's going to go the way of Whisper.
Timber Chain just off, missing the tree. He probably dies anyways, but...
Yeah, he was holding
Great
the Celestial
dispos.
Hammer. Really well done. I mean, that's what you want out of this first ult from the Dawnbreaker. Immediately gets put to use to take down Malrine's Timber. And they don't really lose much else on the map. Like, Tomato got some space. Yeah, he's going to actually just look for Amar here. The 3 points Rocket Barrage just shreds the Viper. And some offensive tips. They're like, what's up, buddy? You like this?
I mean, it's true. This is the last pick. not really
A little bit
panning
of
out.
revenge there for the double kill. Nice silence mid lane. They're looking to try and stay on top of the puck. He's able to barely dodge it with the waiting rift. The coil's going to come out onto the timber. Tomato has a call down. Missile one's going to connect the dispose. Or the rebound, rather. Actually stunning up the timber saw. And Whisper is going to chase to just zone off these supports. Ari is nearby with another rebound in 3 seconds. And I think Snaking is going to be very dead in a moment. There's your Starbreaker to follow it up. In comes Alk, has the stun channel, thinking of throwing it. Instead, we'll use it to farm some creeps. Off to a good start here for OG. 3-9. Into the Alk lineup, though, so this timing from Skitter is very scary. They have managed to block one of the camps behind this tower, though, so that's slowing them up a bit.
It's actually really annoying for him, yeah.
Yeah, look at this. Great dodge on BZM, and honestly, I thought the coil was going to hit both of the supports, but, you know, better target would be the timber there.
Yeah, Timber's chain, again, just a little bit off. I think he felt like he had to use it. Like, if he waited to walk a little farther forward, he's going to get hit by everything. So he was trying to do it as quickly as possible, but because of that, just misses the tree and then ends up dying again. A really painful second death.
Yeah, him and Amar are not having the start that they kind of need on these heroes. Oh, they do scan out Timber exactly, but right now they're actually walking top. Ari gonna run into crit. Roll is out. Unfortunately for them, Tomato went in aggressively, hits the call down missiles, and goodbye Viper again. Coil will catch crit. Dude, this Viper is paper to this gyrocopter.
OG, these were volatile side lanes that could easily go either way, and OG, they've got both. It's... Man, last time we talked about the playmaking potential maybe holding back Falcons. This time they're just not coming out of the lanes. I say that, I mean, the net worth is like pretty even, but that's the Alchemist factor. Alchemist is like top of net worth still, because he is getting a bit of space while these other fights are going on. But the Viper and the Timber are both... They're both pretty behind their counterparts.
There was one thing that went really well for them there. They actually brought Malrine bottom with Skitter and kill Whisper. So he does die on the Dawnbreaker, and you get a little bit of gold for the Timber Saw. You know, trading offlane for offlane. And with how farmed Whisper is, it's worth quite a bit more. I also want to point out he is going for an Orchid. Smokes to the bottom side of the map here. BZM will pop it, gets silenced up. Crit will be able to dodge out the stun. They don't know the Timbersaw is here. He's underneath an Invis rune looking for Snake King as he just gets deleted. Skitter comes in, has that concoction going, throws it up, hits Seb. Whisper will come in with the ult, tries to keep him alive, but he gets silenced. Well played from Crit. Now Whisper, he's going to take a beating from this Timbersaw. Big whirling death indeed. Nice turnaround there from Falcons. Malrine holding that invis long enough. Those are big fights. Those are 2 big kills.
Yeah, it just about gets Alchemist his Radiance. He's 500 off of the last component, which shouldn't be too bad, although maybe he's gonna get killed right before we can get there.
Great static storm into the 2 supports, just basically killing him. BZM there for just emotional support. That is a lot of damage from the Unleash Marcy, hitting that level 6. He's going the Vessel. You were talking about a Vessel builder earlier. We wouldn't really have expected it to be the Marcy, but here we are.
That's true. She's got pretty open itemization.
Oh, boy.
I kind of forgot that she could do it.
Who has a Helm of the Dom? Oh, it's just Enchantress. Okay, I was like, who has this Dark Troll summoner? Enchantress solos off the mid tower. Very nicely done. As they're looking for Tomato. Snake King is playing very aggressive here.
I find
We'll see
another
Malrine
troll.
now. Do they go in? BZM has a coil, but yeah, they're just gonna have to deal with the troll here, it looks like. He's really close to Witchblade as well.
They can pick up a couple towers off this troll, like continuously finding these trolls. That would definitely help them open up the map a little bit, get some space.
Radiant are scanning.
I mean, they're getting good efficiency on the map here for OG. Like, Tomato is almost neck and neck with the Alchemist, who does have his Radiance done at about 100 gold. He'll get it off this creep camp, but you have to compare that with a Gyrocopter. Being this close is pretty scary, and they're smoked up here. They see everything going on. They know Falcons are positioning for this gank, and BZM might get the perfect wrap around the roll-in. Will grab Seb. He gets an immediate Static Storm. They were ready. The Viper's dead. First, the Coil's going to catch the Timbersaw. Ari's got the Unleash go. He's trying to Timber Chain away, but they got a glimpse. The Haste Rune is not going to be enough to save him. Great Magnetize out from Crit. In comes Skitter, trying to do what damage he can here, but BZM instead just going to play aggressive. Looks for snaking. Skitter, he's not going to make it out. They've just surrounded him. Oh, boy. What a bait by Seb. They are just reading Falcons so well.
OG's movements are so good. Last game and this game. They're just ready for all of this stuff, it seems like. Yeah, look at that. What a nice Swambo combo. Viper gets nothing done in there. Timber gets glimpse back in. Barely gets to do anything. I thought at least Alchemist might be farming up, but he actually joins this fight. And I guess once he's committed, he's committed. There's no getting away once the Disruptor is in the picture, but maybe didn't think that was going to go so one-sidedly before he teleported.
It's like, that's your Radiance timing, right? You get this Radiance, you're like, I'm going to be there, guys. I'm on the way. But your whole team dying before he basically makes it to the fight. That is really rough. I also, to point out, like, the fact that the Gyrocopter is now past him in net worth is very scary, and Whisper has the completed Orchid on the Dawnbreaker. Like, their ability to join globally has been super strong. Crit mid lane picked off by BZM and Ari, who lets the Unleash go. That's the finished vessel now for this Marcy. He's pinging out Snaking. He knows he's here, and he's gonna just intercept. Unleash Flurries coming through. Does have the Dispose, but really nice enchant.
I'm gonna get him. I'm not backing off. You guys better help me out. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna die.
He's trying to speed up Seb to get there for the glimpse. Looking top. They will get vision of him now. Snaking is just buying a lot of time here. They won't find him. Okay, they're gonna turn around and go for the tower instead.
Gyrocopter Rags is just 1,000 off. It's only 15.5 minutes.
Radiant are scanning.
In that last fight, I looked at the damage done by the Viper, and it was, oh, the Orchid from Whisper. It's caught the Timbersaw. He should be able to hit the Starbreaker here. Glimpse. Pulls him into a really nice Static Storm, but they've caught Ari. Nice rebound away. Whisper needs to be able to finish him off, and with the Vessel, it's more than enough damage. Seb has no points in the kinetic field, but it seems he doesn't need it.
I'm surprised there's not like 1 point, but it's true, he doesn't seem to need it. Timber tried to get the Timber Chain on the Glimpse. It's really tough to get the timing.
Ari just placed a ward and then, or placed a sentry and walks right by the ward. He's like, oops, my bad. But they just double D-ward to the bottom side of the map here as well. So they take a good amount of vision away. I mean, that's like 350 gold now for Marcy. And Tomato's Ags is done. BZM, by the way, has a Blink Dagger, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so the Puck's Blink Dagger is now done. Skitter will self-done, unable to get on top of Tomato. They are smoked up here. Seb actually thinking of getting aggressive as the missile's going to come through. He's in trouble. Glimpse. Skitter going to get stunned. Call down is there. The follow-up from the Dawnbreaker. It's trying to heal it through for Tomato, but he's fallen low, and they get a really big kill. Whisper, can he finish the job? In comes BZM. Coil on the money. They need to get out, though. They've lost 2. They might lose more. Crit with the silence gets on top of the Puck, and this is the disastrous fight for OG. A really well played initiation from Falcons.
This time, jumping the Alchemist, they do get the kill, but he's so tanky that they have to commit a bunch. Plus, they didn't have their cooldowns from earlier, like no Static Storm this time, which would definitely turn the fight. And because of that, Viper is finally free to do damage, which I believe you were about to tell me how little damage he did in the last fight. But this time, Look at him go, spitting on everybody. So he gets to contribute lots of damage. Get
He's the highest damage dealer
as
in
well.
this fight.
Yep. So big difference. It does mean your alchemist died though, so he's not farming. That's a little sad, but that's a very important recovery fight for the Viper and the alchemist. They were really far behind.
It's a lot.
Or maybe
of
not the
experience.
Timber as much, but definitely the Viper.
Yeah. The thing is like Viper is one of those heroes that if you fight into this hero, if you don't kill him quickly, your team is basically on a timer, right? It's like basically playing against the Radiance of the Alchemist, but, you know, tenfold. Like, there's the amount of poison attacks going out, the corrosive skin splashing onto everyone, plus Mage Slayer now being done. It reduces your team's damage a lot, and you're just going to get burned through, so they'll have to target him eventually, or they wait for their BKBs. That's like that's the alternative, right?
I think so, yeah. I'm curious about this Disruptor. I was looking at his build, and he maxed Thunderstrike first, but he actually never got the Shard, which I thought is why you maxed it to begin with. I guess it was working up till that last fight. And actually, I feel like part of the reason they lost that last fight is that they didn't wait for their cooldowns. More so than like any of the builds they've been doing, but just interesting.
All right, lots of heroes to the top side of the map. Just trying to find a pick off there before they go into Roshan. They have great ward coverage for this, right? They have 2 in the lane that would scout pretty much any rotation coming in from from Team Falcons. You could portal through bottom, but at this point, Roshan, it's already dead. So Aegis will go into the hands of the Gyrocopter as they get back to addressing the lanes. Game is still very close. I think a 4K gold lead for OG is really strong. A lot of the gold being on the support still. And we'll see how that can translate in these fights, because Alchemist is becoming a little bit of a problem, especially once he gets his BKB.
Same time, Gyro's working on his BKB, and with that, he'll be able to ignore Radiance and have a lot of physical damage from the Crystallis and Aghanim's to directly fight the Alchemist.
Straight Tormentor. I mean, that's a cool idea. They just take the Tormentor right away instead of going for the tower. They have the mech there from Seb to top them off. And Malrine is coming back to try and snipe for the 21-minute Wisdom Rune. He is Invis. Whisper will grab the Wisdom Rune. Luckily, is probably. I mean, he has no clue that the Timber Saw is here, right? So
we suspect something. Oh, it's for the Wisdom Rune, I see.
He's like, wait,
Lol.
what? Where'd it go? The Wisdom Rune's gone. Someone's
didn't spawn.
Invis. Nah, I mean, that's really nice for Malrine. Just getting that for free is huge.
Seb did steal theirs, so they still get to go even at least.
Radiant are scanning.
And they get BZM, fast blink out. Never mind. They cannot.
Well, it will be space for their Tormentor, so they will be able to grab both of the Tormentors just after the 20 to 21 minute mark. So that's good stuff for OG, just giving them more gold. Whisper getting the shard for the Starbreaker is actually quite nice. It's a really solid pickup. Also finishes his pipe.
Oh, maybe this is why Seb didn't buy the shard.
Yeah,
He's
got it from
confident he would get
Tormentor,
one.
and then BZM actually buys his out as he is closing in on the Parasma, which not super surprising. Needs to be careful though, as he's Malrine was baiting that shield rune, but BZM not wanting to risk it. Glimpse will pull him back. Great Timber Chain from Malrine. Well timed. This missile comes through, and with that one, they're actually going to initiate onto Seb on the backside. Glimmer Cape protecting him. Malrine trying to finish the job. Static Storms out, finds this crit initiation, but Malrine needs to leave. But Amar actually doing a lot of work with this Viper, stacking up the damage, and Skitter's going to come in. Can Dawnbreaker keep them alive? They're trying. Can they finish off the Viper? They're also tanky on the side of Falcons. They're falling one by one. Seb, the Magnetize, is going to finish them up. Amar finally dying, but the respawn from Tomato does the job, and Malrine now all alone. No BKB, Orchid as well. Dude, the Viper almost crushes so hard in this fight, but the second life of the Gyro. And the pipe, honestly.
Yeah, it's so close. So many heroes on OG ended up pretty low, which just goes to show, like, if there wasn't an 8k difference right now, you tone that down a little bit, either OG's less farmed or Falcons is more farmed, then you probably start wiping out OG and Falcons would take this fight. But all the early game skirmishes going OG's way builds up into this, and now they come out with a pretty big win there.
Yeah,
I guess you did get the Aegis, but
yeah, it
think
looked
he cares.
so good initially. I thought for sure they were going to get a lot more with like this Viper getting so much damage out, but you can see here like Aris as well as BZM just sitting on like 10% HP, and that is the net worth difference, right? Like if Amar has like one other item, if he has like even just a casual Yasha, or you know, Skitter is closer to something else, like you probably get those kills.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, what are we gonna do on the pause here? Where are we going? Okay, G's are out. Tomato's BKB is done, which is quite big. All right, what's up next for OG here? They have no Aegis now, but do they still want to fight, or are they playing the farm game? Oh, well, I say that, and they get a coil into the mid lane. It's going to get snapped here from Crit. He's going to be able to roll, but nice grab there from Puck to block that one off. I see a glimpse as well. Finds Malrine on the far side. Ari? Just almost solos him. He's trying to Timber Chain to the far bottom. He gets out, but that's a BKB forced in Seb. If he can get that Thunderstrike on him, would be massive. They're trying to find Malrine. They get him. There's a missile in pursuit. TP coming in as well from Whisper. A glimpse pulling him right back. Dude, the damage from this Marcy onto this Timbersaw, 1,600 damage and 900 from the Disruptor as well.
Yeah, the support set that one up. They almost just straight up killed him on their own. He almost gets away with the BKB, but good TPs by OG to make sure they clean up that kill. Back to your original point, I think you take fights like that, you're not really trying to... You don't feel on a timer as OG to shove into the base and like, oh, we got to get high ground now, right? You're not going to sit idly and let them farm. You'll take those kind of small fights, but then you'll just chill, slowly push, wait for that next Aegis. I think Gyro, he's the hardest carry this game. You do have to be a little worried about being Viper Striked and maybe like a more farmed Alchemist being able to kill you, but this is not really a more farmed Alchemist. He's 1,500 ahead, which is pretty much... It pretty much means you're behind as an Alchemist, so you're not really worried about scaling into the late game here. Especially when you got Ari on this Marcy. I mean, we saw he's not even like he's farmed, but this isn't even like farmed Marcy, you know? So there's so much scaling potential for him.
And he can take out an Alchemist late game. Once he has BKB Basher, he will solo an Alchemist. Like, he does not care taking that fight.
Yeah, almost got the Timber earlier, so...
Yeah. Nice ward place here from Crit. I think they're going to know about that because they have another ward of their own on the bottom side. I mean, look at the ward game here from OG. They see pretty much the entire bottom lane and 2 entrances into the jungle from Falcons. So bottom is a very scary place to be. So regen's going to spawn mid. They're looking for Crit again. The map's getting dark, though, for Falcons. And Snaking, he's scaling on the Enchantress, right? It's what we typically see. The Dragonlance, the drums, the Specialist array. It's all good stuff, but he's so susceptible to the damage out from OG, right? Between Flak Cannon and just the damage from Puck now. Ward does get grabbed there. They almost get their hands on a Malrine. They could go for a glimpse. It's going to be able to pull him right back in. The missile going to connect. He's forced to BKB it. And with that, Falcons will disengage. No BKB on the Timbersaw as they look for the top and mid tier 2 towers.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I liked it a lot. Not chasing too hard onto that. You're just happy once you got that BKB out. Even though you have
Radiant's
good vision
structures are
bottom,
fortified.
you'd be
Whoa,
kind
that's
of going
their
high
high
ground,
ground
right?
Middle tower is under attack.
That's the high ground fort, though. They've already lost to other tier 2 towers, so that's a big one. They're predicting the 28-minute Wisdom Rune rotation, and they got him. It's actually Malrine with no BKB. He's just dead. The Parasma just... Oh my god. That magic damage versus the Timbersaw. 1,700 damage on the puck there.
Radiant's middle
I'm gonna throw out an idea. I think.
Yeah?
I think one. This is not to belittle OG's performance in any way. One, I think Falcons is 8-2 originally before the series. I don't know if they're like exploring some new stuff. Not that like their heroes are massively different, but like there's a little bit of difference compared to like previous games. I don't know if they're like trying new stuff now that they feel like they're in. But I also wonder if they're the #1 team, most teams are studying them. I feel like OG is reading them so hard, and I wonder if OG studied Falcons a lot in terms of trying to figure out why they're good, and now they know like, yeah, this is all the stuff they do, and so we know exactly where to be like at every moment.
I think it's a little bit of them prepping for the Timbersaw. I like legitimately, I think that's the big thing here. I think OG looks at this series and they're like, okay, they will pick Timbersaw if we leave it in. So let's come up with a couple ideas on how we can play into this hero. Because look at the damage that's been done to Timbersaw. He is so underfarmed. Like having only Blink, Kaya, and a BKB at 30 minutes. It's just the exact same thing that happened last game for Malrine. Mid lane, Whisper could be in trouble. This would be a great kill. Blink stun. He's just going to be able to... Oh, he doesn't BKB it. Okay, underestimating potentially how many heroes were there. Whisper gives a very valuable kill over to the side of Falcons. Especially as Roche is going to be up in 45 seconds.
He'll be up in time. He is going to come bottom, so maybe Falcons can set up for it. The observers down here will be dying soonish. And they're actually not even in the Roche area. Maybe Falcons can get a winning fight here.
They don't know that Roche is not up on the side of OG. And if it is up, it would be coming through the portal right now. So I think they do have to be a little bit concerned. Obviously, you can join globally on the Dawnbreaker with the Solar Guardian. Falcons, though, scouting it out, realizing there is no Roshan, are going to beeline it into OG and try and play the 4v5 advantage. You finish up some nice items. You got the Basher AC now on Skitter. Amar with his full BKB. I mean, these guys can do damage. It's just killing the Tomato is not going to be easy. They're going to try for it. Blink in, gets a stun. Seb comes in. There's the Solar Guardian. The BKB out from the Viper. He's taking a lot, though. Great coil on the backside, holding up too. Tomato, he's trying to stand his ground, but Skitter's got him, man. The corrosive weaponry holding him down. Wait, no? He's still alive, but finally falls. Triple kill for BZM. He's the actual carry. Oh my goodness, Malrine, he's going to make it out, but they find Amar onto the backside. BZM with an ultra kill. All this, I mean, all Tomato's doing is surviving, but holy hell, BZM.
This Defiant Shell is doing work for him because Falcons commit everything trying to kill Gyrocopter. Yeah, we're about to see full commit on him. He doesn't even have his Satanic yet, but he does have lifesteal, and so even while he's stunned up, the Side Gunner is helping him lifesteal. The Retaliate hit, whatever it's called, from Defiant Shell is like getting him some lifesteal. Then he starts attacking, pops his own BKB, and he's just living so long. Eventually he does die, but you were only focused on him, which means Marcy was going around killing people. The other your other teammates were all dying while you just had to focus the gyrocopter. And he's using flat cannon too, so while he's just sitting still living, he's still contributing to the rest of the fight.
Yeah, he ends up doing the most damage in that fight on the gyrocopter, but now you have Satanic, and this is going to be really scary because that doesn't fly a second time. Like, Marcy's sidekick giving him so much lifesteal, and it's combine that now with the Satanic. That's pretty good. Does Paladin's Sword count for healing? It doesn't, right? There's no way that increases the healing done by his sidekick to Tomato, right? I'm not going to theory craft it.
Oh, Marcy's Paladin Sword?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
Because, like, I don't know if sidekick on allies is considered healing or not.
We have some wacky mechanics. I don't think that's how that should work.
Yeah,
but there's
right?
a chance.
I feel like, no way.
There's a chance.
Right. Roshan's done. Tomato with an Aegis. They got the Roshan's banner, which they're probably just going to backpack and not use because no one uses it. But I would be okay with them throwing a top lane. There's still a tier 2 up there, and being able to make sure that that lane stays pushed is important. So we're going to see Skitter channeling Concoction in the trees. Does not want to risk it. Puck going in, trying to scout Tomato. Gets the flak out. Snaking's going to be forced to pop some healing. As Viper dumping in a lot of damage. So does Snaking. A nice stun out from Skitter to start this up. But again, Tomato, he's got the Satanic. Turns it around. The break and the damage from the Viper is going to be enough. He's got a BKB on the second life. You spent a lot on the side of OG. Could this be the fight they're looking for? Ari and Whisper in the base as well as BZM. The big kill is going to be Tomato, but they can't do it. He's trying to just bring down Seb. He doesn't have it. Skitter with a great 2 hero stun. The damage in from Snake King. Whisper gets the BKB. They're on to the Alchemist. BZM has ripped apart your back line, and now it's time for the rest of Falcons to die. Tomato doing some work here. Snaking actually dumping in a lot of damage. A buyback here from Crit to try and keep the Magnetize going. As they still haven't cracked the high ground. Not yet, but there's the coil out from BZM. Gets on top of the Snake King. Enchantress. And he will finally okay, Crit.
The rocket hits.
The rocket redirect. That is rough. 5 heroes dead, no buyback. And I think OG might have just taken this series 2-0.
A lot of that fight. I mean, okay, so first of all, they get a huge chunk of damage into Tomato while he's under the tower. Then they try to, like, finish that with the Elk jumping in. And you can see, like, even while stunned, he's just healing up with Side Gunner and the extra attacks from Defiant Shell. And then it's not even the Gyrocopter. Like, Gyrocopter finishes killing Elk, turns around, and in the meantime, Marcy, Puck, and Dawnbreaker
Whisper
have killed everyone else.
They're just chasing them in the base. And it's so scary because normally Dawnbreaker is not a fast hero, but when you get rebounded from your Marcy, he's borderline hasted. And we'll see some of it here. Like, the initiation comes out, he only pops the Satanic and then the Dawnbreaker ult to try and live, and it buys them a lot of space. But yeah, Puck's gonna go in, and then this fight becomes really scary.
Just look at Marcy go. Pow, pow, pow. I'm a 4 support. You're an offlane Viper. That's right. That means you run from me.
Yeah, BZM just chases him to the fountains, right? And all of this, like...
Look at Whisper.
Whisper still had
die?
BKB. Like, or not BKB, that was just the shard. Oh, it was BKB, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. He had BKB the whole fight.
Got the Solar Crest, too, and everything, keeping him alive. Lifesteal, all that. All right, last barracks.
Gonna find Snaking. I mean, he's a lot of their team's damage. BZM should be able to grab the kill, and that's going to be a dieback. In goes Skitter, gets us down here onto the Marcy, and Abyssal Blade out from the Dawnbreaker. Hold up, Coil's going to snap Skitter up onto the high ground. That's the level 25 talent out from Puck. He's trying to make his way back to the base. The Prasma's not going to burn him, but Reinforced out as well. You're going to buy back here on Snaking. You've lost Crit, you've lost Viper. It's GG. And OG, an incredible performance here.
Much needed win, too. This puts them at 5-5, I think.
I believe so, yeah. After this morning, that will put them at 5-5.
That looked very good. I don't even know, like, if I was trying to nitpick them, I don't even know where I would begin on OG. That was so clean, like across the board. Really good in the laning stage, just insane movements to match. Not even match, as in like, oh, they get kills, we get kills. Like outmaneuver Falcons. Like, oh, they try to kill us here, we kill all of them there. Oh, they're gonna try to get a return kill over here. No, go over and kill him. I was like, oh, he's trying to steal our wisdom rune, we're gonna be there and kill him, right? I feel like they just read everything.
They really did. I 100% agree. Like every single rotation that was coming out from Falcons, the big one early on for that top tower, that was potentially a game-winning call from OG. Like whoever made that call to, you know, bait Seb at the tower and then just wipe Falcons at the tier 1. That was oh, this is literally it's right here.
Perfect.
12 minutes into the game. This fight is like the backbreaker for Falcons because they just get the Radiance. Malrine has like a haste rune. You think there's no way he can die. He gets glimpsed in, and then Alk joins. He's like, "Don't worry, I'll try and clean up." But yeah, this is where it all goes dark for Falcons.
Really cool movements from... I feel like supports did work in this series for the side of OG. Like in game 1, it was Batrider Rubik. This time we have glimpses everywhere, some great static storms, this terrifying Marcy support, which we don't usually see too often. I know the Chinese teams sometimes still run Marcy 4, I feel like. Sometimes Marcy 5. This time we see Ari's take on it, and he was just getting kills all over the board.
That Timber Chain was nice. Yeah, it's one of those things like Marcy supports in a game that you're winning feels really good. In a game you're behind, it's not so good. But the Vessel decision was perfect because you said it in the draft. Like, man, I would love to see a mid lane that goes Vessel. They go for the BZM puck, but instead it's just Ari. He feels strong enough to fight with just a Vessel and gets a BKB. Never even gets to his Basher, but he wasn't too far off of it at the end of the game. But the fact that he finishes the game 10-2 and 21 definitely tells the story of like his game impact, right?
Yeah, and that's not an easy hero to pull off. But that combo was really cool. Not something... I don't even know if I've ever seen this combo. Marcy Dawnbreaker, but this feels like a very hit or miss lane if you do not find the kills. I feel like it would be miserable to play, but they found the kills and they kept finding them. Actually, after that, after like the initial first kills in the lane, I feel like Ari then moved on to other places, and Dawnbreaker was just fine on their own. But they like found the necessary kills to start off.
Yeah, it looked really good, and they keep having to full initiate onto the gyrocopter like this, right? Because the amount of damage that comes out from flak and stuff is kind of overwhelming. And Amar on the Viper, he wants to just like sit on the backside, dump in, you know, these poison attacks, but with the double BKB or the BKB just from Ari here, Whisper holds his, but it just shoves him out of the fight completely.
I think the Defiant Shell pick is so good too, because
it really is.
like you get Viper Striked on Gyro, like okay, Gyro's rich, Viper Strike him, reduce him, right? But Side Gunner, I don't think cares about attack speed, and neither does Defiant Shell. So like, even when he's affected by all this stuff, even when he's stunned, he's still healing through his Satanic.
Yeah, he made it they just had really good play overall this game, and it does makes like based on what Seb said yesterday in the interview, right? He's like, yeah, they don't feel like they've peaked by at all. He feels like this team is still getting better every day, getting better every match. They struggled this morning, but come back and secure a 2-0 against what many consider the best team here in the tournament, and convincingly too. Like both games were like very heavily favored for OG.
Yeah, I'm curious to ask them. Hopefully we'll get an interview here. But yeah, I'm curious where they rate this performance. You know, yesterday talking to Seb, he's like, yeah, we're not there yet. And, you know, I would kind of agree. We watched the game. They did end up winning the last series we watched from them 2-0, and there was some like good stuff, but there were some like slip ups. So I could understand what he was saying. But I mean, this one looked really good, and I'm curious, is this what they feel? I feel like they'll never call it their peak, right? I feel like a competitive player never wants to do that. It's like, I can always be better, but it looked really good. If they can keep playing like this for the rest of the tournament, then they're definitely contenders for the title.
I agree. 100%. All right, everyone. We're going to go to a break. We'll be back with an interview in just a moment here with OG. Stay tuned. We'll see you in just a moment. All right, everyone, we're back with an interview from OG, and this time, happy to say we've got someone that Zach and I haven't had a chance to talk to. It's going to be Ari. Congratulations, man, on a very important and a fantastic 2-0 here over Falcons. How you guys feeling?
Feeling very good. Seems like the best 2 games we've ever played on this roster. So, given that the first series today was very disappointing, it's a very nice feeling.
So that's what I wanted to touch on a little bit. You guys, you struggled a little bit in your first series here today, but these 2 games looked incredible. So what was it that kind of what happened? Do you guys have like a good lunch or what? Like, what was the difference between these 2 series?
Honestly, I think the most important thing is the time of day. We've kind of noticed a thing in this team where the morning games we just don't perform properly, and then when it gets late, we're actually in really good shape. It's just something to do with like sleep schedules or energy or something like that. But that's the first thing. Second thing, I think the last like month in general has been pretty rough. So you're like every day you're watching replay or talking or maybe flaming each other, whatever it is, And each day, like you might not notice the improvements because you're like overwhelmed with information, and maybe over time, like at some point it'll just click. Like all the things you learn, all the things you worked on, maybe one day they just click. Don't know if that's today, but maybe that's what happened.
Okay, well, you guys definitely clicked. This both drafts looked incredible. You guys played them super well. But I have to say, like game 2, you're playing into like kind of the Alchemist draft. I would say Falcons is the team that's typically on the timer. You guys focused this Viper super hard. Was this just because like Falcons was playing aggressive there, or was this like a conscious decision to shut down, this offlane Viper?
I mean, as always, when you see a Viper, and especially when you have a +4 like Massey, you're kind of conscious of if he steps up too far, you just kill him. And this hero doesn't really recover very well, and if he doesn't have a good lane, he's just not really very strong. And we also felt that Alk just doesn't scale into this game. Like, it doesn't matter if they have 1 Alk farming, it doesn't matter. Like, +4 Massey will outscale this guy by himself. So we don't care about him at all. And then mid lane, yeah, we killed Timber a few times as well. So I guess we focused Timber Viper and just don't care about Alchemist. And you just have to choose which heroes you care about their scaling and which ones you don't.
Right on. Very well played, man. Zach, what do you got?
Sure. So you had a series earlier today, and then there was about a 4-hour break. What do you do in that time? Do you keep playing pubs to stay warmed up? Are you just prepping for the next series, like talking over what you want to do? Or do you just relax, make sure you come in here well rested?
So immediately after the game, we tend to take like hour break at least, just to emotionally reset and eat and chill or whatever. Then probably like maybe play some ping pong, whatever it takes you to relax. Then if it's a rough loss like that, you kind of have to talk about it. So maybe 1 to 2 hours of talking about after that, like replay, whatever you think will help you for next series. And then, given that for the last few days I've been drafting for this team with the help of Misha, that means in the final 1 to 2 hours I'm prepping for the draft. So there's like an hour of rest, and then you're kind of back to business.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize you were doing the drafting right now. Do you like that that change in, I guess, control of what's going on?
Yeah, so with drafting comes like extra responsibility and like some stress and stuff like that. So it can get to you at times. Like maybe if the game doesn't go planned, maybe I feel extra bad because it's like my draft and it's not meant to go like this. Maybe I did something wrong, etc., etc. But I really quite enjoy having more control over what happens, and I think I have lots of good ideas. So it's good to like use that. Of course, Misha's helping me too, but in general, I like it. It's just you have to like try to let go if it feels like the stress is getting too much. Like it's not really your responsibility if you win or lose. It's more like you just do what you can to set your team up, and maybe they don't execute it, maybe they do. You have to separate the drafting and the gameplay. So yeah, there's like extra like difficulties and responsibility, but I'm enjoying it.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I think it's pretty different being a drafter versus just being the player. And now you get to pick your favorite heroes for you, right? Like, ooh, I get to choose. With that new responsibility, then you said it's like extra work. Has it? Are you just doing more work, or has it changed the way you prepare? Like you're playing maybe like 80% of your time, and then 20% is now draft prep, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so it kind of means that like 2 hours of every day is just lost to draft prep. So I just lose 2 hours of practice a day, I guess. But I, for one, don't feel the need to play a lot of pubs to stay in shape. Like, honestly, one a day or even none some days is fine, and I don't notice any difference. Scrims is enough, officials are enough. So for me, it's not a big deal to lose 2 hours a day, but it's definitely like it's a bit of a hassle, and it could take away practice time. But yeah.
Okay, that's really cool to hear. I know a lot of Dota players don't have to think about drafting. We all just play pubs, so it's always interesting to see like what is the reality of that for you guys who do have to deal with it. Yeah, Ricky, you got anything else?
I mean, I just gotta ask like how things are feeling for you and the team. Like we've spoken with almost every member of your team at this point. It's our first time talking with you, but Seb gave us a little bit of insight into like how you guys focus a lot on kind of bonding as a team. How's that experience been for you coming over with Tomato to OG?
Yeah, it's a strong emphasis in this team. So like about being like together and empowering each other and trusting each other. All of these concepts are like they're like the main concepts of OG, I guess. So yeah, it's important to us. We put effort into it. Of course, I already know Tomato from last year, and we got along well, so it's pretty easy to bring him here and have a good time. And he kind of helps Whisper join the team because of the Spanish connection and stuff like that. So yeah, and also I guess like me and Seb have the most voice in the team. Like we decide most of the ideas or calls in the game or whatever and stuff like that. And we get along really well as well. Of course, you clash sometimes. If you're two strong voices, you might have different ideas, or you might say something like the wrong way and it gets misinterpreted or and stuff like this. But like overall, we get along well, I think. Of course, you get along better when you're winning than when you're losing. But yeah, it's yeah, we're doing well.
I'm super glad to hear, man. I'm excited to see how you guys do going forward in this group stage. These were some really important wins, but is there anything you want to say before we cut you loose for the evening?
To all the OG fans, don't give up on us. We know it's been a rough month, and we're trying very hard. We're working every day as much as you can, and we strongly believe that the fruits of our labor will show very soon.
That's amazing. Hey, Ari, again, congratulations today. Finishing off with a really strong win, and best of luck going forward. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that brings the day to an end. I mean, it's been a really fun day of Dota. I'm curious. I don't know if you saw again, but very different stories between A stream and B stream as B stream draws 4 of their 5 games and A stream is all 2-0s. So it has been quite funny. I mean, Group B might hit a lot of tiebreakers. It's going to be really close in the middle of that group,
There's about to be another group stage in Group B. The amount of tiebreakers.
Just run it back. Right now, you can see the standings: Heroic and Spirit at the bottom here. Heroic is so close to being mathematically eliminated with 9 losses now. It's unfortunate for them, but OG getting a very solid 2-0 puts them right in the middle with Azure. As for Group B, much closer, right? 7 to 4 wins separating first and 6th. So yeah, or first and 7th technically. So yeah, it's very close to see how that group's going to end up shaking out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to OG's games. I mean, we just hear from Ari there. They feel like it's so close to coming together, right? And I think this series looked awesome. It was cool to hear him say like this is probably like some of the best games we ever played. And it was awesome to see. It wasn't like the same meta either. We got to see some cool heroes, and I think that's tons of fun. I hope it does pull together for them. 5-5. I mean, that's decent spot. Yeah, you'd like maybe the more wins to feel comfortable, but they still got a couple more series to play, and hopefully we'll get to see them for it to all come together. That's always the most fun, right? When all the teams are playing well, we get to see the greatest games and the most unique styles. So sounds like it's coming together. I've always enjoyed all our interviews with the OG guys so far.
Yeah, I agree. They have tomorrow off, if I'm not mistaken, and then are playing their last 2 series on the 10th. So they have one full day of prep day. So Ari's going to get his work in. He's like, all right, I'm drafting now. I've got to do 4 hours of draft prep work tomorrow. So we'll see how that makes a difference. But it's been a fun day, and congratulations to all the teams that have made it so far. But there is still a lot more Dota to be played, right? And on multiple streams. If you're not following the 2 different streams, you should be. We're here on main stream. There is a B stream. There's also a YouTube stream and a Twitter account, which if you're not checking that one out, you probably should, because ESB is looking for feedback on the tournament, things that you guys like, things that you don't like. Give them the feedback that they're asking for so we can try and plan better in the future for their next tournament. ESB would love to run some more this year. And like Zach said yesterday, if you guys have feedback for us, we'd appreciate it. Just go gentle, as we are both fragile and would cry if you were mean to us. So, yeah.
I'll do it right now. I'll do it.
Don't test me. Final thoughts on the day, Zach? How do you feel?
Some surprise results a little bit. I think 2-0 from OG to Falcons. No offense, right? I think many people are holding Falcons to such a high degree that it is a little bit surprising. But I think it's really cool. Just shows to go how close the teams are, and how even the top teams, like if you're a little off in some way, the teams below you will immediately snap up that position. And it's why it's rare to see a team stay at the top for so long. Like last year, we saw Game Gladiators 3 majors in a row, right? Like an insane performance. That is insanely impressive. Even if I know people are like, oh, it's boring, I want to see new stuff. It is the dream of a pro player to be able to be that consistent, right? And Falcons right now, off of 2 tournament wins, is this it, right? Could they keep it up here right now, top of the group? So looking in a good spot, but shows like there's a little, some slip ups there. It's possible they can fall. So makes it a great time to be a Dota watcher, I'd say.
Yeah, it really is. And it's been a great time today, as we're going to, bring us to an end. Again, my name's Cryptic, here with Z Quixotics. We'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, with more Dota action on the Elite League. As always, everyone, have a wonderful night. We'll see you soon.